Never make a deal with the fae. Hello everybody and welcome to Brawl Stars. I'm Amy the Amazonian and today I'm playing Alela Artful Provocateur at the request of WovenTimeStream, who joined the big dogs in the membership program and said, hey, can you build Alela Stax with a couple of my favorite cards in it? And those cards are in this deck, and so are a lot of other nasty things that work well with Alela's abilities. Whenever I cast an artifact or an enchantment, I get a faerie. All my flyers get buffed, and in this deck, we're going to make our opponent pay the price, whether it be life or mana, or maybe just not attacking me at all in order to do anything. Alela of Artful Provocateur does cost 4 mana, so in our early turns, we're just going to take away some of our opponent's pieces, build up our number of enchantments, and also, get ready to take over the board. If this deck is able to get ahead, it will stay ahead, spitting out fairies, drawing cards, punishing our opponent, and even changing what our enchantments might be. We can animate our enchantments to swing in for damage, bounce all the creatures in play, and even destroy pretty much everything except for Alela and her fairies, using an enchantment to go even wider. This deck is playing a lot of cheap things to help trigger Alela, and it's also getting some card draw off of Eerie with Entity Tracker. This deck is sweet, not just using artifact and enchantment synergy between those cards themselves, but also with the commander. So let's take Alela into the queue and see if our opponent will strike a deal with the fae. Sephiroth, Fabled Soldier. Sephiroth, I think, is a pretty well-known fellow now, the blood artist that can draw some cards. I guess this is keepable. I don't have black mana for Baleful Strix or Alela, but I have a bit of removal off of Get Lost, and I have a Rhystic Study to try and tax their cheap creatures. Sephiroth is going to be playing and killing a lot of creatures, and potentially killing my fairies as well. That's how he flips over. And once he flips, that's going to be an emblem with the Blood Artist effect. Nice ramp on a Terminus of Returnimus. Chat's like, Rhystic Study? Amy, why would you? Well, because the person who requested this deck specifically said they wanted Rhystic Study. Actually, I would put Rhystic Study in an Alela deck anyway. Yeah, there were, I think, 6 cards that WovenTimeStream said I really want to see in the deck, and I tried to make sure that there was room for them in there. Like this one. I mean, it's not as good in 1v1, but it is still a frustrating card to deal with and can be difficult to deal with depending on the deck you're playing. All right, so Theomancer says, I have no snake, I make a snake. There's some black mana there. Oh, and somebody's asking, how do you request a deck? On YouTube, you can go to the membership channel, and on the membership channel, if you join as one of the big dogs, then you get to request a deck. And since some people have been joined for a year, they get to request a second deck. Oh, Bowmasters with Rhystic Study? That's fun. I'm gonna wait until end step and then fire this off at Bowmasters. There we go. Since they cannot pay the 1, I would love to draw a card. Ghostly Prison, pretty nice when there's 3 different creatures here. Alternately, Alela could come down. None of these are really what I'd want to be hitting with Elspeth Conqueror's Death. And I do have a board wipe coming up. I could definitely see going for Ghostly Prison Baleful Strix this turn. And I want to make sure I get a second black mana source for Rise of Sozin. Let's see what I draw off this. Ghostly Prison will slow them down next turn. And the only problem with wiping the board against the Sephiroth deck is all of the triggers. Do you pay the 1? Okay. They eat the snake. They draw a card. I get blasted. What's up, Sinkhole Surveyor? You want to lose a life and endure? Dusk's Landing. Oh. I did in fact lose life and they did gain life, so they got 2 vampires. I wonder if they have like Bloodthirsty Conqueror or The Vein Ripper, I think is its name. I wonder if they have Vein Ripper in their deck. I don't feel pressured to Rise of Sozin this turn, so I am going to Elspeth Conquers Death, hitting Sephiroth. Yeah, Blood Artist is probably in their deck. And I don't really feel like waiting or bluffing that I have things. I don't run that many instants in this deck because I wanted to focus more on, you know, the enchantment part of the deck. I have enough lands, thank you. Vein Ripper is a great card. It's a huge Blood Artist. It's drains 2 and it has a ward effect. Real nice. Ooh, Arnon! That's like another turbo Blood Artist. If a little critter dies, something with power or toughness 1 or less, I will lose 2, not just 1. Oh, and Blood Artist. Are you a vampire? Oh, you are a vampire. I see, I see. It's gonna hurt a lot if I Rise of Sozin here. But I'm still gonna do it. I guess I attack in first. Try to get my 1 damage. This will also put a creature in my graveyard to bring back. Ew. Bing bong. As I said, this is gonna hurt a lot. Ow. I go to 5. A little fetch land, that's fine. I'm going for the fetch in case I can surveil something better into my graveyard. On this... Oh, hey, there is Vein Ripper! We were just talking about you, homie! She's like, what? Talking about me? Yeah, because you're good. Choose a card name, do a thing, do a thing. Sure, you get a +1/+1 counter. We draw Ang's Iceberg. Rise of Sozin. I get to choose a card name. I could honestly hit swamps in their hand if they have any. I'll just hit the Blood Artist out of their graveyard. Nice. So they actually have part of a combo that's with Sephiroth here. Non-Life Familiar and a Village Rites. Am I in danger? Yeah. Fine. I'm very good at paying the Sacrifice a Creature award. That's the one thing that kind of matters to me here. All right, based on what they have, I'm going to lose 2 life. Make a faerie. Oh, yeah. To sacrifice a creature, this is a gain and drain. And if I can get to the point where I am attacking in, I can maybe gain some life back. Right now, though, Sephiroth costs 5. They have 2 more mana that I know of. So they do not have a way to drain me. If they have a land, they can drain me once with 9 Lives Familiar, but I'll be drawing off Ristic Study. I can stabilize. I got a lifelink in Commander. Thankfully, I do have removal that's exiling for 9 Lives Familiar. Unfortunately, they'll just sacrifice it to Village Rites in response. Do you play Soul Trader, or do you let me... Yeah, it's like, do you let me draw? They're gonna let me draw off Ristic Study. What? I'm fine. This is free to sacrifice, pretty much. They have tons and tons of life. You may as well get that treasure. And I'm gonna start cluttering up the board with little things. But remember, if my little things die, Sephiroth still loves this. Okay, I have a Mischievous Lookout. This lets me recast non-creature permanents from my graveyard and turn them into rats. Very weird card, but very cool in this deck. So we're going to throw that down, and I'm going to make a 2/1 rat that's Elspeth Conquers Death. Yep, it's a rat. I'm going to hit Soul Trader on this, see if they're willing to sacrifice it to Village Rites. They're sacrificing 9 lives Familiar in response. And then Village Rightsing the Warren Soul Trader. Yeah, the only point of damage that matters is the last one. They did pay the 1. And, you know, just because they have resources and I have another piece of removal, I'm going to take out Terminus. I have filled up this board. I have some life gain. I'm back up to 8. They're down to 32. They're still way above their starting life total. We get to tax them next turn. Sozin is also going to be reanimating from their graveyard. Emeritus of... Whoa! What are you searching for? Oh god, Meat Hook Massacre. I'm trying to think, what do you tutor for? Oh my god, wait, they didn't want me to draw, so they didn't leave up mana for the tutor? Okay, they're gonna have to draw, let me draw off this one. I think it's gotta be Meat Hook Massacre. Or something along those lines. Yeah, but if I can steal the Blood Artist type effects, like Arnon. This is 2 blockers, though, so I would have to hit one of these first. But that's easy enough for me to do, and also something I want to do. So I'm going to Aang's Iceberg to hit the thing that's recurable. This will also, like, happen sometimes, but this is fine. That way there just isn't a blocker there. Trying to decide if I want to swing in with these two. One of those things where I like... This doesn't even have anything to bring back yet. Oh my god, wait, can you... Okay. Yeah, fine. Everybody in. How much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. I have, you know what? Yeah. Put all of the mana into this, because I'm not casting Restricted Office or Lecture Hall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I do Soul Trader, then I can sacrifice on demand. And I think I can kill them right now. Arnon is going to see these fairies. 1 toughness. We sacrifice each of them. And we win the game off of their graveyard. Went down to 2 life and turned it around. Terra, Herald of Hope. I have an Exiling Wipe, which could be nice against them because they're all about bringing things back from the graveyard. I do have a couple things that are direct graveyard hate in this deck too, but for the most part, Terra is going to do her own milling in bringing things back. It's pretty hard to interrupt that unless it's at instant speed. I want to make sure I have an extra white source here, and I guess I'll go for the Surveil. Polluted Delta. I have a Tithe in hand. I could go for another land, sure. Okay, next turn, I can play the Talisman. And then I could go into Alela. But I'd actually kind of rather play Enduring Innocence and just, like, Surveil again off this land. Thoughtseize! Oh no! My Thinksies! By Sunfall. I would probably just hit Sunfall here. I'm not like a card draw focused deck if I'm Terra. Like, Smothering Tithe is annoying, but it's that board wipe that's just Rough. Rough for me. Rough for you. Rough for everyone. Enduring Innocence is a great piece of enchantment-based card draw to play with Alela. Draws when she enters, draws when you make a faerie. Oh, Voldaren Epicure. Makes you a blood, so you have an easy discard to set up for Terra. Ah, good grief. Grief can be brought back by Terra, and it is yet another Thoughtseize. They exiled Flag Feast out of their hand. Yeah, by Smothering Tithe, I think. Being asked if I've ever been to Portugal. I have. I've been to Portugal. I didn't spend that much time there, but I have been there. Did I have fun? I had good food. The traveling I did with my family, I did not enjoy in my youth. I probably still wouldn't enjoy it today. You can only see so many paintings of Jesus before you're like, wow, I get it. He died. Great art. I've been to so many cathedrals. Alright, let's go big mode. I'm gonna put stuff in my graveyard, too. Bam. Alright, we got a Ristic Study and Alela. And they have a Mardu Hellkite and Grief. But I can block Terra, even if they gave her haste. Alright, Giver of Runes and an Iridescent Vine Lasher. And I have to choose, like, do I want to use you as a blocker? Let's see what's on top. If it's something that's, like, super worth drawing, I'll swing in. I'm trying to decide also if I want to hold up Enlightened Tutor or not. I'm going to pay 1 life. Oh, not blue. I need to tap you for the black so I can leave up the white. There we go. Sorry, opponent. I'm bad at tapping. Alela can trade. Ooh, a land tax. Entity Tracker, you're a good card draw. Enlightened Tutor, you're a tutor. Land tax. Land tax I can play right now. And that will get me a cheap blocker for Terra. You guys see my vision here? Yeah, my family liked to go to art museums. So I've seen a lot of art. Old art. I still go to art museums. I just do it on my own time. 35-year-old Amy can appreciate art a lot more than, like, 8-year-old Amy. 8-year-old Amy wants to play Pokemon on her Game Boy. Overlord of the Baal Merc. Who do you bring back? Maybe somebody with some removal built in. Grief. Ooh, Thunderkite's cool. Can give Terra perpetual haste, so even if she dies, she'll come back and get haste again, which is actually super sweet. I'm going to Enlightened Tutor pre-combat. Some of you know where this is going. I'm gonna grab Sphere of Safety. I'm going to attack in with my Overlord. Yeah, you see what's on top of my deck. I'll drop Fear of Ridicule, even though I love it. And we have no fears. And 1 spheres. Play the land. Here's the Sphere of Safety. I get a little cheap blocker, so I don't have to worry as much about Terra. They're down to 4 life. And now they have to pay 3 mana, 1, 2, 3, for each attacking creature. Good luck getting through that one. Lupine Volt, thank you so much for supporting the stream with a 29-month resub. Game Boy Beast. Yeah, between me and my brothers, there was like a Game Boy and a Game Boy Advance, and it was very much like, okay, well, I want to play Pokemon now, so I'm going to take those. I want to play Tetris. Just trade around. Thank you, Mobile Entertainment Systems, for keeping me sane during long trips. So they could attack with 1 creature. Now they only have to pay 2. But then they wouldn't be able to reanimate with Terra, so they're just getting themselves a blocker here. They're saying, you know what? Mardu Thunderkite and Lifelink. And I think that's smart. It means I won't have lethal swinging in unless I have something I can do about that. Also, my card draw is gone. Huh. I can get rid of some of these. I would also like to draw, though. I'm going to play Entity Tracker. This will just get them to sacrifice Boromir, I think. You may as well. It protects Terra. In this way, I'm not attacking in. Because I don't need to gain 2 life. Entity Tracker gets me a card drawn. Oh, Seam Rip! That'll be nice for next turn. Except I might have to discard it, because that is a Kroxa. They do have black, but they don't have red with their current mana sources. Thankfully, I'm still really good at blocking in the air. Terra's Evasion just isn't as good against the fairies. The life gain, though, is good. Good big. Oh! They are sacrificing the Vordarin Epicure to cast what? Kroxa and Ktorious! You can, in fact, bring out a creature from your graveyard here. But you can't attack because of Sphere of Safety. Thanks, Sphere of Safety. No spheres. 1 spheres. Who do you bring back? What is the scariest thing for me? Honestly, none of these. Like, having to discard Seam Rip sucks, but it's not the worst. Yeah, this upcoming turn, they can block and still die. So yeah, I think it had to be something that could block in the air. And then... oh, no, I have a Sphere of Safety. You can't do that. You can't attack me. I have Sphere of Safety. I'm safe. That got them another blocker. But I have Seam Rip. I'm going to take out that blocker. I also have Utter Insignificance, so this won't be there. And I'll swing it in the air, and I'll win. GG. Gretchen. Ugh. You guys know how I feel about Gretchen. She's gonna draw a bunch of cards. She's going to put a bunch of lands into play. And she's probably gonna have like 3 equivalent versions of Training Grounds in their deck to do it. Now, they got a Gemstone Caverns on turn 1. Well, turn 0. And they were on the draw. I just kept this here because I'm like, I have mana off of Talisman. Hello? Hi. You have more mana than me? I know. A Llanowar Elf. Now, I can hold up Swords to Plowshares for Gretchen, but I'd rather play my Esper Sentinel here. You always bolt the elf, always swords the elf. I need to obliterate Gretchen. Smothering Tithe might actually be helpful, though. You're thinking? I would never do that. Yeehaw, and I'm ready to brawl. Yeah, I don't know if this is somebody who knows me. I don't recognize the name. Maybe they just really love emoting. See if this resolves. Smothering Tithe. They're trying to deal emotional damage. Is this getting countered? Yeah, Gretchen oftentimes has a slew of counter spells. A spell pierce? Nani? Okay, yeah, it gets spell pierced. I will attack. Fair trade. I have a Sunfall in hand, so I'm like, yeah, let's clear up the board. A Talisman of Curiosity. Oh, yes, very curious, very curious. Yeah, the only thing I know is that it's not Crim. It is in fact not Crim across the table from me. He is the Asian Avenger, our friend Crimothy. Ugh, free counter spells. I actually have Vexing Bauble in this deck, and I took out Trouble in Pairs as like anti-extra turn hate. I tried to put in, we'll call them appropriate pieces of haterade, including some that were at the request of the person who requested the brew. Like Painful Quandary was a card they really wanted. Smothering Tithe was a card they really wanted. If it were Crim, you'd be able to hear the trumpet. Yeah, if it were Crim, he would kill me with a banana. Hey, remember how I was just talking about how Trouble in Pairs was in one version of this deck because of the extra turns? Did you see what they cast? Time Warp. Let's try Lurker in the Deep. I need lands. Let's see what we get on our Seek. It might not resolve, actually. Okay, no Archmage's Charm. Who do you think you are, Tameo? Yeah, Trouble in Pairs is much, much better in EDH than it is in Brawl. Because there's a lot more pairs to cause trouble. And once they get Crackhand Trainer or Training Grounds or Biomancer's Familiar, I want to say, that's when we get to be in real trouble. Or even just some landfall pieces. I try to make it clear how much I hate Gretchen. I hate Gretchen. A Ghost Vacuum. Swinging in. Okay, Lotus Cobra. In response, I'm going to try to exile Gretchen. Prevent her from activating once this is down. Yeah, where's Malayan Tax? My deck is not running that much instant speed interaction. It's not what we're doing here. Narset? Oh, you nasty beast. Stops me from drawing additional cards. I have a little card draw in this deck. I have like Ristic Study and stuff. What is this? Beast Within? I can hit the Time Warp out of their graveyard. I'm gonna hit the Lurker in my own graveyard. Beast Within, hitting Alela! That just makes my fairies a lot smaller. And they're doing this on my upkeep, so the 3/3 can't attack. Now my fairies are not big enough to kill Narset. I'm going to ask a painful quandary. That quandary being, do you wish to lose life? Or discard a card. This is my little Narset beastie. Oh, look at my little beastie. He's within. Alright, my tea is done seeping and steeping. Oh, Sylvan Library. So Sylvan Library, I've actually been thinking about putting into pretty much every single green deck I own. Because I love paying life. You know I love paying life. This is card draw. By the way, they did not discard whatever's in their hands. I wonder if they'll just kill themselves on their next turn with the library. Ooh, Deadhead, thank you for the 32-month resub.
I was not prepared for this.
Alela. Yeah, it felt like it was a counterspell. But it's a counterspell and it hurts you, so I'm fine with that. Makes my Alela cost less. Yeah, suffer at the hand of my quandary. So they just used this to brainstorm, and then they died. Alright, cool. Dawn and Wrath, hard science. I think it gives affinity when they attack it, or gives them some discount on their artifacts. I'm gonna be honest, I've only seen it played once. Yeah, here we go. The next non-creature spell you cast has affinity for artifacts. Neat. So they need to attack in with their commander. I don't want you to attack in with your commander. I would like to play Vacuum. I have one piece of instant speed removal in case they have, like, booties to give haste. It only gives one spell affinity. None of these, like, I could static prison that, but that's not really what I want to do. Okay, here come Dawn and Wrath. It will have 2 mana up, and they do have a discount on some spells here. I will go for a bit more fixing. Blue-black, and... Look, you'll get more affinity. You love affinity. I kill you. Look, I'm giving you more artifacts. You like having artifacts. You like having artifacts. It makes you happy. I give you more of them. And I'll just slurp up the spell from their graveyard. I'll grab blue-white on this one. We love that shock and awe. And I'll put Sapphire Medallion in the moon! The Mist Moon. That's different from the other moon. Psy Master Thopterus lets them use their blue mana off of a Mox Amber. And will make even more artifacts. What? Why were you looking at Pull the Mist Moon? I didn't kick it, it's fine. He's going exploring. He found a land. A Silver Bluff Bridge. Aether Spellbomb! Put it in the graveyard. Or don't. Fine. Just Slurp up the land. If I play this as a land, I can play White Auracite. And White Auracite can then exile either of these. Let's go with the Psy. And then I can use the Static Prison to exile Mox Amber. Perfect. There are no creatures for you to bounce. Suddenly my board is a goodie bag of random crap. If one of those gets destroyed, I can bring it back with Heliod. Well, not any of them. I can't bring back White Auracite because that one's actually not an enchantment. Ooh, Liberator! And they're playing it at sorcery speed. It does have flash. Alela. I have white mana. I can throw something on top of my deck, depending on how the turn goes. I don't think it's worth bouncing Alela, but you know, you do you. Signet, he will get a +1/+1 counter. Slurp this out of the grave. Is there anything I'd really want to be tutoring for here? Alright, I have 5 mana. Card advantage. Card advantage, good. Yes, I'll pay the energy. Go! Card advantage, good! Being asked if I run artifact or enchantment lands in the stack. I don't. They don't trigger Alela. I have to discard. I will discard this card, since I can bring that back off of Heliod, or just put it into the vacuum. Yeah, this only cares about casting. And also the one, like, enchantment land is just kind of not what I would want. Okay. So unfortunately, their cards return. What did this one say? Oh, right, because it was underneath Ghost Vacuum. I'm trying to pick out which removal pieces now I want to use. Auracite. Hitting Liberator. Talisman. And Static Prison. Hitting Psy. Hitting Sapphire Medallion is my other, like, consideration here. Unfortunate. Yeah, with my 10 life left. Undid some of my ramp, since a lot of this was just mana production. Alright, Dawn and Wrath. Do you have haste? No. You have bread. You have bread? Turtles. Always thinking about food. Well, I guess I should just be happy it's not pizza. Chat saying, at least it's not pizza. Yup. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go for a kicked Pull of the Mist Moon. Starting by hitting the Sapphire Medallion and putting this buff onto Ghost Vacuum. I'm gonna exile Dawn and Wrath. They still don't have a haste enabler. If they want to eat the bread, yeah, you gotta do it now. I could technically exile from their graveyard. I'm not gonna bother. I'm just gonna slurp this up, so it's not holding priority. I wonder if this would actually have counted that as being exiled with this card. Probably. Funky interactions. I could go Zur and, like, smack them with the Mist Moon. Alela. Zur. Me, my Mist Moon, and I. And swinging in. Their linked abilities. Okay, Portal to Phyrexia. That will make me drop all 3 of these. My creatures! They get the Sapphire Medallion back. I will return Alela to the command zone. Now, Dawn and Wrath does get a big discount now. If they have a big colorless spell, they have 5. Okay, they have nothing. I will exile the Fear of Ridicule out of my graveyard. Whatever they target, I'll probably hit that too. Hey, look, Saya's back! Or, Amy, you can just bring things back out of your graveyard and cast them again. Like Pull of the Mist Moon! The moon haunts you! And by you, I mean, Portal's not doing anything because I have graveyard hate. Dawn and Wrath. They target Zur, I exile Zur. Yeah, we're just mooning our opponent. Next turn I could flip over Heliod. Ooh, that'd be so fun. Did I draw all of the Kamigawa lands in sequence? Yes, I did. Yep. Color order. No, wait, not quite color order. No, yeah, white, blue, black. Or white, black, blue. No, it should have been white, blue, black if it were color order. It was close, it was close. Heliod will discount depending on the number of cards my opponent casts, or cards my opponent draws, and lets me cast things at instant speed. All right, full cost Overlord of the Flood Pits. I'm going to exile the Sapphire Medallion, a fairly minor piece here. Because this is so easy to get rid of, relative to other things that, like, dies to a Braid. Estrids lets me copy Overlord, so I'm going to keep that. But wait, there's more. Estrid's Invocation. I can even blink this. I'm not too worried about them attacking me, so I'll drop Sphere of Safety. And I still haven't used a Ghost Vacuum. This is their turn, by the way. Yeah, there's no creatures, though. I'll just keep you as you are. You're really good as a 5/3 creature. So decline. Yeah, because I can flash out Alela. Discard a Signet. Could I exile it and return it for the enter to battlefield? Yes, but then I wouldn't get to attack with it. Just got myself another nice card advantage piece. They could sacrifice this to Psy. Oh, they're sacrificing the land. Well, you have just drawn a card, so I'm going to start spitting out stuff. One sec. One moment. Ooh, lifelink. I like lifelink. Sure, put on that one. I'm trying to get a higher storm count. Because each copy of Amphibian Downpour that enters... This does not counter itself, thankfully. Each copy of this that enters will trigger Entity Tracker. Because it's like a constellation type effect. All right, you guys are all so frogged, it's crazy. Thanks for drawing a card, though. That was very considerate. Yeah, poggin' and froggin'. They're so full of frogs. Yeah. Frog. There's Mari Command. Drawing and discarding and making a treasure. That's a big discount if I had things I was trying to play. Legend of Karuk? Sure. Still no creatures in the graveyard. Not too worried about this, but I can still hit their graveyard. Ooh, Galazeth Prismari! Lets you tap your artifacts. That's so cool. Boop. She's also a frog. Pretty much. I've made her utterly insignificant. And then I'm going to attack in and presumably win the game. Kozilek, the Great Distortion. Somebody is playing something big and colorless. Hey, that's the wrong Eldrazi for putting in the moon. I still think this is an okay enough hand. Mostly because I have a discount into potentially some removal, potentially a board wipe, though I don't expect them to play that many creatures. I expect them to mostly play ramp. It's always weird seeing any of the big colorless commanders other than Ugin, because I feel like it's hard to generate as much value as Ugin. In fact, it's like impossible to generate as much value as Ugin. That card's nuts. Ooh, Overlord. I'll take that. Have something with some blue in it. For my Glimmer. Eugene the Value Queen. Lovelock's also pretty good value. Refills your hand and gives you counter spells. But also can be countered. No, I want... If I win another turn... Yeah, I think I just want to wait another turn. Hope to get a land. Since I can no more lies whatever they cast here. Your treasure tap. No more lies. Your map lies. There is a colorless counterspell they could use. Oh, they have it. Null Elemental Best. Honestly, I'm fine with this coming down. This is treasure map. It's not that exciting. I'll play this Impending since I didn't get a land. probably dropping Rise of Sozin. As I said before, I don't think they're going to have many creatures for me to wipe. And I can replay it in the future using my mischievous lookout. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't think Planeswalkers should be allowed to be your commander. And there's a reason why they're allowed. When Brawl was first introduced, which was with Dominaria, there were not that many legendary creatures. Sets typically had, like, at most maybe 10 or so, with Dominaria actually being a set that was focused on legendaries and had uncommon legendaries that had way more. So in order to, like, give yourself more options for that, they were like, yeah, you know, you can use... Oh, look, they did have a reason for board wipe. Like, you can use these other cards to try to, like, fill in that gap as your commander. But also, they're kind of miserable. This gives them 3 treasures. They're not getting the discount from this. This can't tap for mana. Yeah, Standard Brawl was the only Brawl that existed at the time. But there were fewer, like... There were a lot fewer sets and cards in Standard. I feel like we have, like, triple the number of cards in Standard now, which is kind of crazy. He costs 10, right? Oh, I did not leave white mana up. I left blue up instead. That's fine. Did I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 11? So even if I was static prisoning this, it would go. So they're going to refill their hand on cast. And I can counter Kozilek, but I think it's better to imprison him in the moon. Do they have the potential of, like, oh, a 3-mana spell that they can, like, discard to counter it? Yeah, sure. I don't care. Here, I'll actually start with the white Aura Sight. If I can get this to resolve, that'd be fun. Yeah, also because Ward of the Spark came out a little bit after that, and they were very much intending, like, to use that as part of the design. You ended up with a lot of Planeswalkers. Not my jam, but I'll take it. Let's hit that Guardian Idol. Up. Yeah, Ward of Spark had so many legendary Planeswalkers. Gilded Lotus? Sure, get yourself some mana. And a Cityscape Leveler. What do you level? They're just immediately blasting Alela. Sure. I'm trying to decide if I want card draw. The answer is yes, I want card draw. I will put Cityscape Leveler in the moon. Moonscape Leveler. Aww. Yeah, I'll just let Kozilek draw here. I don't... Again, like, oh no, a 12/12 with Menace. It's gonna draw a couple cards, it's fine. It's weirdly not as scary as you'd think it is. Actually, most people are probably like, yeah, whatever. It's just Kozilek. When you think of the Eldrazi Titans, it's like, oh no, Kozilek. Oh no, Ulamog. Oh, Emrakul. But like, Kozilek's definitely the least frightening of the three. Are you blocking? like he's so bad. You know what I'm saying? I think they're roping. Well, yeah, unlike many of the Eldrazi's, Kozilek, this one is not saying Annihilator. I hardly know her. It's, oh, wait, they're here. I see them hovering their stuff. Let me pay life. Okay, awesome. Draw a card. Shard Mage's Rescue. Don't care. Can't use it for anything. Oh no! I'm getting bing-bonged. Yeah, just some good, honest card draw and a little bit of counter, but like... they weren't able to counter the Aura Sight. Okay, that's a free spell. You might as well get it out of your hand. Well, like, you're dead to the birds. Tweet, tweet. Sure. Breaker of Creation counts their lands, by the way, and gains them a ton of life. So they're not dead next turn. And this has Annihilator. Congratulations, Breaker of Creation. They can draw a card off Treasure Trove. Yeah, I think that everything that has an on-damage ability should say player or planeswalker, or more modernly, player, planeswalker, or battle. Oh yeah, I'm about to pay the 6 like nobody's business. Trying to get some more damage in. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see what we draw. I will discard land tax because I'm going to play from my graveyard as a rat. All right. Ooh, Enduring Innocence. Look at my land tax. It's so cute. It's a rat. Just like you. Rat taxes. Yeah, battles have only existed in one set, but it really stinks when you have something that's like, whenever you deal combat damage to a player, blank. And it's like, yeah, but I have to attack planeswalkers, and I don't think anybody should ever be forced into having to decide between getting a trigger by hitting a player and taking out a planeswalker. In War of the Spark and Modern Horizons 3, they said player or planeswalker. And that's pretty much the only sets where they've consistently done that. Okay, what are you taking out? It looks like they're targeting Alela and Overlord. I can replay Alela. I cannot replay the Overlord. So I will use Shard Mage's Rescue. Oh, yeah, he draws me a card. Woo! Wait, this does things. Do I have spirits? It's just all creatures will get flying and vigilance. Okay, sweet. Holla, holla. Get haunted. If they attack in with Breaker, these are the two things that get sacrificed. They're not doing anything for me here. Things that said damage to player got changed to be player or planeswalker because of the planeswalker redirect rule. Un, deux, trois. I love paying the 6. It's how I get my fix. They have one blocker for the air. It's this. But like, bird up, my friends, bird up. I guess I just swing in. Wait. Steam Breath. Yeah. A fine game against, you know, it's Kozilek. Ktorious, History Chaser. I will need, things that can tax attackers and removal for planeswalkers, because Ktorious is a very strong card. Ktorious is going to sit there and generate value, both in the form of 3/2 fairies and also card advantage. I want to make sure I have a blue source here, and also a little bit of surveillance. That'll work for me. Unable to scream, not really what I want. I already have Utter Insignificance in my hand here, and their creatures aren't really the focus of the deck. There are some creatures that automatically exile. Oof. Okay, so this is actually, I would say, the best card in their deck, because it exiles as they discard and gives them, like, treasures or 2/2s. So I need to get rid of this with the Aang's Iceberg. I think even more than I need to get rid of Ktorious, even though I could technically get rid of Ktorious in response to his plus activating. Now let's go. Aang's Iceberg, good old sorcery speed, and hit the currency converter. Yeah, the spirits he generates don't have flying, but they probably do have, like, Elspeth in their deck.
Together we can dig even faster.
So Ktorious discards 1, mills 1, and draws 2. Really good advantage on the cards there. I think I could put him in the moon. Or do I want to go for Alela? No, I'm gonna ramp you a little bit and put Ktorious in the moon. It hits planeswalkers. Timeless Dragon. Nice. Gets them a plains, and then can be not escaped, it's eternalized. There we go. Yeah, I mooned him. Nerd. I think you're just making a 4/4 flyer here, based on the shock. Oh, nope, Tablet of Discovery! It will mill, and they get to play that milled card. If they can this turn. It's a Day of Judgment. They cannot play it. Ghost Vacuum, they can use that as graveyard hate on me, or a way to trigger Ktorious, but Ktorious is, as we said, in Damoon. Ooh, Inquisitive Glimmer. I'll just play Alela, see if she lives. Astronaut Ktorious. Guys, there might be hints about the Formori Empire in the moon. I have Ghost Vacuum in my deck, too. It triggers Alela. It's an artifact. There's not a lot of good, like, I don't know, enchantment graveyard hate. Dang. All right, so they freed Ktorious. They can trigger him twice this turn with the cards I can see. Timeless Dragon and Ghost Vacuum. Okay, rude, but understandable. He has escaped Moon Jail! He's also generated card advantage. How dare you? Hi, Alela. I don't have removal for Ktorious again. Wish you did, but I don't. Skyclave Apparition is also a spirit, which is very notable. They're using their Buried Ruin to unbury Containment Construct. This is another artifact that will exile as they discard. So the Ktorious Plus works with this, because you discard, it automatically exiles, and you can even play that discarded card, turning your small amount of card advantage into a huge amount of card advantage. Also, Ktorious can just double strike up all these spirits. Yeah, double strike and vigilance. Okay, rude. At least that's one rip apart that's not being used on Ghostly Prison, because I'm gonna, I think, need to play that next turn. I can Glimmer, Prison, and Utter Insignificance on this. Will it save me? We'll see. We'll see. Patchwork Banner, Naming Spirit. These will all get a buff, and I'm actually going to take a pretty big hit this turn. Oof, ow, and owie. Okay, Glimmer. Prison. Authority. And I could technically wait until they do a discard with the other insignificance, but I'm just going to do it now. They'll have to pay 2 for each attacker, which makes Ktorious minusing not as lethal. I think they have enough mana, though, to, like, pay for each of these. Oh, yay! Haha! I gained a life. Yeah, wouldn't it be awesome if I had Alela out so I was getting, like, cheap blockers with that? No! Soul Partition! Okay, well, now I'm dead. I take it, and I die. They didn't want to pay the 2. Pantlaza. It's the big old Blinkosaur. It's a dinosaur that has a great enter the battlefield ability that can also trigger on other dinosaurs coming into play, and will get them more cards from exile. This is sometimes played as a blink deck, sometimes played as a dinosaur deck, and sometimes it's just value in Naya colors. And it looks like they're going for a combo. There's Pantlaza discovering Tybalt's Trickery or something? I don't know. I'm sure they're doing something nasty here. If they mulligan to 4, they're doing some sort of goofy combo. I want to say there's a Pantlaza Monstrous Vortex deck, too. Yeah, there's Pantlaza Monstrous Vortex, but that just means that, like, every card in their deck has a mana value that's higher than 4. Except for the Monstrous Vortex. I need white. There we go. You don't do Tybalt on it because it's not on cast. It's not a cascade. So you just do Monstrous Vortex. Yeah. And then everything else, there's like a bunch of cards that have a technically higher mana value that can help you ramp. Like Beanstalk Giants and stuff. That work with Monstrous Vortex, work with Pantlaza. By the way, this told me every card in their hand is a land, because otherwise it would have revealed them to me. Yeah, I wasn't even, like, paying too much attention. Wingwreck Fiefs is just like, there's nothing for me to see. Atlantax. Yeah, listen, I know you're ramping. Faerie? I don't have to worry, I don't feel, about Pantlaza next turn, so I think I'll go for Enduring on this turn. Cool, more lands. I also could potentially let Pantlaza resolve, by the way, and wash away what it hits on the Discover, just to be like, okay, yeah, I see your combo, and I'm gonna say no. Because that way I'm getting rid of that card from their deck. Wash away hits anything that's cast from outside of hand, which would include a discovered card. Yeah, I'm gonna let you resolve. Let's see if it's Monstrous Vortex. Cursed Mirror. Oh, is this like infinite Pantlaza Blink? Yeah, I don't care. Swinging in with my homies. I get to draw. Huh. Does that dinosaur look like it belongs in the moon to you guys, or just me? I pressed the wrong button. I was trying to grab Imprisoned in the Moon, and I grabbed Ristic Study instead. That's fine. Let's see what else they play. A bunch of clones. I clicked wrong. Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a, this is Laws of Storm, where every single card in their deck, clones the Pantlaza ability. Yeah, like flickers it. Yeah, I wonder why I didn't tap this at all, though. Because, like, then I could have at least done this. For anybody wondering, is there a free spell in my deck? Yeah, this was supposed to be in the graveyard. I don't think there is. Y'all are sacrificing the Pantlaza. I assume Trumpeting Carnosaur? Or whatever it's called? Oh, Capricious Hellraiser. Sure. I'll keep drawing. Like, I'm just out here like, yeah, I guess I'll keep drawing. Cursed Mirror, you want to copy your Hellraiser? You want to copy Wingbright Thief? I got enough cards in my hand. Aww, look, you made an Alela. Let's just turn into a mana rock after. Okay. Well, whatever they were trying to do, they didn't do. Even though I misclicked. Hooray! Turok Dread Canter will make me discard and discard and discard! Man, it kind of stinks I don't have an enchantment to discard for Heliod to bring back. I don't have black mana, so I can't play the Strix. I'm still going to keep this. They're probably going to ramp. They're going to make me discard, and they have protection from a bunch of the colors in my deck. Turok's a great commander if you want to play mono black discard, because guess what? Random discards, like what this dude does, are really hard to play around because you do not know what you're going to lose. All right, Acoustic Bronco. Gonna hit me with that Bonko. I guess I will just sit here on Entity Tracker, because I could flash that out to block the Caustic Bronco. All right, let's see what they reveal first, because if it's a kill spell... Okay, it is a kill spell, so I'm not going to go for the block. Because it's sorcery speed kill spell, specifically. All right, flashing in Entity Tracker. No response is actually really what I want to see. I'm going to play the Talisman of Hierarchy. Swing in with Entity Tracker. And I can flash this out to draw a card, or I could just play Baleful Strix. By the way, that's probably the most expensive card in their deck, and they hit it off of Snake Bob. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right, here comes Turok. I am going to flash this out just so I get to draw. Hitting the Bonko Bronco, because I can't hit him. And we're going to discard 2 cards at random. All right, and it was the thing that could have brought back the other card. And that card. Okay, cool. How's about... Do I just want to draw? Yeah, I just want to draw. Sphero Safety. Lies? None of them. Yeah, they're gonna kill Entity Tracker, pretty sure. Next turn, I would like to go Alela into Conundrum. Not that Conundrum does that much against them. It'll give me a faerie. And Sphere of Safety is, stops them from attacking me, pretty much, because I have, 2, and 2 is enough. You want to spend all your mana on doing stuff. No! Deep Cavern Bat! He's gonna bap my Conundrum. The freaking bat. My swamp! No! My con. Undrummed! And they killed us instead of attacking, and that's fair. No, honey, I played Sphere of Safety. No! No! Some clerics. Can't take no for an answer. Alright, so I have a silly little counter spell here, but that's not an artifact and not an enchantment. Yeah, if this weren't specifically requested as, like, an Alela Staxy kind of deck, I would definitely have more of the, like, cheap and free artifacts. It still works this way. All right, so we got rid of a Davriel. That's good enough for me. And they're reanimating Heliod. Okay. There's nothing for them to bring back. But it's a very cool, like, discounts. Nice. All right, I could put you in jail so you could eventually come back to me, but I'm gonna hit the bat so I can play Confounding Conundrum. I got a land. We're gonna go hand empty, head empty because we're against a Torok. And now, if they want to attack me, they gotta pay 3 per creature. Yeah, you want to come at me, bro? You want to play Virtue of Persistence? There's creatures in the graveyard. They're good ones, too. All right, they're going to go for the big Doug Dimma discount. The more cards I draw, the cheaper their spells are, and they can cast them at instant speed. Very cool effect. Why it's in the deck. Ooh, Bloodletter! Gonna double up my life loss. Honestly, I should have cracked the Misty Rainforest right there. Well, I'll lose 2 because I didn't do that. Zur, yeah! Zur is absurd. Lets me turn any of these into death-touching, life-linking creatures. How about this one? Oh, also hexproof. Look, I'll make it cheaper for you to attack. Care to block? It's a trade. Yeah, so I don't have cards in hand, so if Torok goes away, then he will shrink. I'm back up to 24 life. And I'd say the nastiest thing I can animate here is probably Sphere of Safety, because it would be a 5/5. My bog! Wait, really? But that's where the creatures you could reanimate are. Okay, they don't care. You attacking me? No. Alright, I'll animate Sphere of Safety. Ghostly Prison. Yeah, you're funny. Am I just attacking with everything here? It's one of those, like, if they have an instant speed kill spell and they kill Zur, it'll be a lot worse. But I'm gonna go for it. I know what I like. It's hitting stuff. Oh. Flashing and Rankle. Sure. I mill a card and lose a life. Count your blessings that got milled. Alright, their best blocks, they need to block this. An Iceberg, because it gets them a guy back. They could block and keep one of these alive in the air. Rankle's not that good against me right now, because I am wider than them and I don't have cards in hand, or I won't have a card in hand. Wrong answer, Torok. You're still dead. GG. Silverquill, the Disputant. Going to be copying spells by sacrificing creatures. Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice he's willing to make. I feel that having all of the, like, super cheap removal here is really nice, because I also have Entity Tracker. I'm going to drop the Sunfall. I got other board wipes. Now play something I can remove. Hi, Silverquill. Also, it's like a 4/4 flying dragon that, you know, it's got vigilance. It's a good beater in the air. You can either play Silverquill as more tokens focused or more sacrifice focused. They both work. Hopefully I'll get another land too. They dropped a board wipe, Toxic Deluge. Bitter Bloom Bearer. My question is, do I want to wait until you trigger once so I can maximize value? Yes, I do want to be setting up to draw cards. So I'm probably going to be flashing this in an end step. You get 1/1/1. See what they play. They have 3 mana. Looks like it could just be holding up removal, because that's usually going to be some of the best stuff you can copy is removal spells. Here's Entity Tracker. Let's start with Seam Rip. Let it rip. I think they're going to kill Entity Tracker before it resolves. Anguished Unmaking. That's fine. Is it Dragon time? Time for D-Ragon. Maybe. No? You thinking about shuffling my deck? It's okay, you can. I don't mind. Hope I'm being attacked. Ooh, Lom! Not for long, though. I am going to kick Pull of the Mist Moon, exiling this. Alternately, I could have Alela Static Prison. Ooh, what am I craving? It's like I would really like to play my commander. But also I don't love playing into the board. That's fine, I'll do it. Alela, 10,000 years of jail. It's actually only 3 turns of jail, but 3 turns is a pretty long time in Brawl. All right, so I have a faerie token. Good for me. You also have a faerie token. Good for you. And then next turn we could kick this. This card is a Banishing Light effect. that also gives the Banishing Light text to another permanent in your hand, another non-land permanent, which is cool. I could make Sheltered by Ghosts exile 2 things instead of just 1. Here's Silverquill. Hello, Silverquillium. Yeah. Big mode. I know it does trigger her, but I want to play land. Alela swings in. That's 2 life-linking, death-touching damage. Calling this guy Daddy Longlegs. We were talking when I was recording his video about, like, should he have to wear pants? Because he is currently very much Donald Duck in it. I feel like Prismari wears an apron sometimes. Gotta keep those scales clean. We got 5 mana. And I've got the moon! If you're an Elder Dragon, you've earned the privilege to not have to wear pants. Real. Alright, so they're actually sacrificing this faerie for Beseech the Mirror. That means that they're not going to be able to copy whatever they're casting for free, but they might just hit, like, a board wipe here. And if you were wondering, well, could you casualty and sacrifice Silverquill? No. If you sacrifice Silverquill for the casualty cost, the casualty does not happen because the spell loses casualty before it hits the stack. Like the copy does. So it doesn't exist. Oh, Tesa! Makes you a spirit every turn. Nice. A very strong card. Now they also have a spirit token if they had something like Swords to Plowshares. No, they're tapping for a black mana. Maybe a Fatal Push. Yep, Fatal Push, killing Alela, copying it, and killing one of the fairies. Overlord is 5. You can't hit it. Well, you can target it, but it won't die. So yeah, hit a fairy, hit a fairy. Very fairy. Very fairy. Case is going to go away. And they're not attacking in here. Yeah, keeping you in jail. Just a little longer. I want to pull the Mist Moons. I'm going to kick it. Exiling Silverquill and putting Sheltered by Ghosts in extra exile effect. They're trying to decide. They may have removal. There's plenty of, like, Orzhov destroy target non-land permanents. Like, they already used, one of the big ones. Anguish Unmaking. There are many advantages to being an Elder Dragon. Number 1, Elder. Number 2, Dragon. Okay, they're keeping it under there. Interesting. Don't love that. Makes me kind of fear a, It makes me kind of fear them having an effect that can destroy all non-land permanents. Yeah, or like a Farewell. I mean, Farewell just naming enchantments here would be brutal. But I feel like Silverquill decks are typically running more like splashy spells that you'd want to copy, and then small pieces of removal you'd want to copy. Farewell? That's not that useful to copy. Copy. Salt rope. They could be thinking. Or it could be rope. I don't know. Looks to me like they are just kind of disconnected. They have closed the game. They don't want to play against my Alela anymore. But look, you get to have Lom back. So Lom, and thanks for all the fish. Finn, the Fang Bearer. I ran into one of these before, and Finn can be pretty tricky to play against, since he's very aggressive and doesn't kill you with damage, but instead with poison. I think this hand is one of the few hands that's going to do something against Finn, because I have this Amphibian Downpour. That said, it might still just be too slow. I think it's worth keeping, though. Turn 1, I could actually Enlightened Tutor for, like, Seam Rip. Something that can just get rid of the Finn. I'm not going to bother. Undercity Sewers, there's a 1-1, I'll take it. If I wasn't going first, then I think I would have to do that. But I'd rather save this for, like, a board wipe. Since there's a good amount of single card protection, things that are like, this creature gets hexproof and indestructible, overprotect, something that also gives like trample, so they can overrun you to get the poison. Also, there is a new card for Finn. If you are wondering what it is, it's Triumph of the Hordes. Triumph of the Hordes means Finn will, you know, poison. Lots of it. They just added that into Arena. Oh. Mr. Butler, hello, sir. How are you? Was Triumph of the Horde not on Arena before? It was not on Arena before. Here's Finn. I will block with my Esper Sentinel. Worthwhile trade to me. Good, and they're playing another creature. That's what I wanted them to do. So now, they probably have a little bit of removal for artifacts and enchantments. But I am going to turn you into the froggiest frogs that have ever frogged. He's like, I'm not a frog, I'm a salamander. I don't want to be a 1-1. I'm a different kind of amphibian, please. And now you're not. Was Triumph of the Hordes $30 for an uncommon? Yeah, it got reprinted as like I think a mythic rarity on the bonus sheet, but still. Ooh, Sword of Truth and Justice. Would be proliferating. If they had anything to proliferate, it'll put counters in and proliferate. Okay, I have double white. Something like Ghostly Prison's also good. I'm thinking White Aura Sight here to hit the sword. It's also ramp for me, which, yay, ramp! Ow. Boop. It would get the auras to fall off. Oh, it would, right? Because it's protection. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm getting rid of it. They have 5 glorious mana, 3 glorious power, and a Vivian. Vivian has a bite ability on her minus, has these +1/+1 counters on the plus, and then can tutor for things outside of the game, which is to say, not at all.
Stopping time.
It's one of those like, do we go for Alela? She died at a minus. I'm gonna Elspeth Conquers Death that. And that'll eventually even bring back my little guy. Maybe Alela. There ain't no outside the game in Brawl. I don't have sideboards. Unless you have a companion, then you have one card in your sideboard and it's your companion. Ooh, bolting. For a Venomous Brutalizer! Yeah! Proliferate! Do you also proliferate my Saga? That's smart. I think that's a good one. So they're going to hit me for 7. That puts me at 7 life. I'm going to get my 1/1 back. Except it's a 2/2. And I think we just bring out Alela, and I'm probably planning to cast Shard Mage's Rescue just to generate a 1/1. If they got, like, a bite spell here, like, that's also why we would do it. Toxic 3? Yeah, like that. I take 4, but I gain 3. Nice! Fastland Scavenger! And an Ochu! More little guys, please. Thanks. Gaining life. Wait. What? It doesn't count as an ability? Well, the more you know, I guess. If you imprison a prepared creature in the moon, it keeps its prepared spell. Layers, probably. I don't know layers. Did they not mill any creatures? Oh, they didn't mill a single creature anyway. Nice shot. Yeah, today we learned. Could it re-prepare? Probably not. For things that, like, could be doing that. Shifting Woodland can become, like, the toxic creature. I don't think No More Lies is useful to me. Faerie. Black Market Connections. More little guys. Swinging in for 3. Yeah, it's just a prepared permanent. It doesn't count as an ability. It is a spell in exile that has been prepared. Put that one in your judge tower. Alright, so they are intentionally killing Finn so they can play him again. But I don't know. I'm pretty secure here in just my ability to have little guys. Lots of them. I don't think you have any tramplers in there, right? Nah, it's like they've got the brutalizer. Hi, Finn. I don't care how low my life total is. I have one thing that I truly love in this world. It's paying to 6. Okay, and crime. I guess I love 2 things. Chat's like, yeah, sure, okay, fine. Wah, wah, wah. I don't think there's anything you can turn into that would make a difference here. The big 6 or 7 mana Ward 4 thing, yeah, they probably run as a finisher in Finn. I think it's a fantastic card. Or maybe a Fintastic card? Fairly good. GG, Finn. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Brawl Stars, and thank you again to WovenTimeStream for supporting my channel as a big dog and requesting this deck. I hope you like the way it turned out. This is definitely one of the two major ways that you can build Alela. You can build it more like artifacty, but the two ways I'm talking about are you can either go Alela, making lots of tokens, buffing those tokens, or Alela that's a bit more control, which is what this deck is doing. We have our board wipes, we have our recursion, we have our value engines, and I think Alela is a very sweet shell for it. The only other commander I would consider for this deck is Xur, and Alela's definitely doing more for this specific build. With Xur, you're playing things that you were playing for cheap and then animating or reanimating. With Alela, you're just spitting out these cheap, punishing artifacts and enchantments and taking advantage of the board. If you want to find my deck list, you can find it in the description of the video. And if you'd like to suggest a commander just regularly, you could leave it in the comment. Or if you'd like to make me brew a deck, please join the membership program as a big dog. I always appreciate the extra support. Also, to everybody who has joined the membership program just in general, thank you so much. I really do appreciate your support. It means a lot that I'm able to do content full-time, and I really couldn't do it without your help and your support. So thank you all so much for watching, and have a brawlful day.